baseball commissioner Fay Vincent joining me here on the Rich Eisen Show. When this all was going down with the Dowd report and your predecessor and good friend Bart Giamatti was going down, and you and Pete, it was go or no go time for Pete Rose. Did you, Commissioner Giamatti, John Dowd, ever put on the table something for Pete Rose for him to sign off on that would not have given him a lifetime ban and would have given him a path back into baseball? Was that ever on the table for Pete Rose?
No, and one of the problems was we talked, I think his lawyers raised early on about what if it's a 10-year, 20-year term or something, and eventually, at one point, we began to think about that. I mean, should we think about a duration? And then one of the lawyers for baseball pointed out that under the rules, everybody who's on the ineligible list has a right to reapply or to apply for reinstatement after 1 year. So we had a 10-year term wouldn't work because we couldn't get over the rule that said if you're on the ineligible list, you can't be there without having a right to reinstatement or to apply for reinstatement. So that went out the window as soon as we confronted our own rules. The fact is that once the evidence developed and it was so clear that Rose had been betting on baseball, not just as a manager but as a player, and we had that information in very good form, there was no willingness on Bart's part to do anything other than throw him out for life. Now, we said if he reconfigured his life, reconfigure was my word. I said to Bart, look, the guy has to reconfigure his life. And Bart said, what do you mean by that? And I said, I don't know. I mean what it says. He has to persuade us that he understands that this involves baseball and it involves what's best for baseball. Rich, if I could say one thing that I think the public has to recognize,
Sure.
This issue has never been about Pete Rose. It was always about what's the right thing for baseball. And when the public says Rose belongs in the Hall of Fame, they're confusing what's going on with this deterrent with Pete Rose's personal situation. Those are two entirely separate issues.
So, in summary here, Fay, do you think the fact that it's now 26 years later, we're still talking about it, he's still applying for reinstatement, and that Commissioner Manfred used the term that he didn't have the maturity to understand what he has done. Do you think when it's all said and done, Pete Rose, in a candid moment, would tell you he didn't do anything wrong?
I think he probably would. He would say, I did some things wrong, but they're not as bad as a lot of other people, things other people did. In other words, I think Pete Rose has never accepted that he's got a massive gambling problem. He's still betting on baseball. We now find that out. I mean, imagine going into the commissioner, and when the commissioner says to you, Pete, are you betting on baseball today? Rose says no. And then during the interview, he changes his mind. He said, well, no, I have to clarify that. I am betting on baseball, but legally. I'm betting at the casino. Now, Manfred noted that. That tells you all you need to know. This guy has a major problem. It could be said to be a problem of just not perceiving, delusional. It could be an addiction problem, any number of problems. But Pete Rose, unfortunately, is his own worst enemy.
The Rich Eisen Show, weekdays at noon Eastern. On Audience.